Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, let's talk about doubling down with the Derricos season 2 episode 8 Diez's homecoming. This video is probably not going to be that long because there was not a lot to talk about, pretty much nothing to really laugh about. I'm not going to lie to you guys, I was in my feelings the entire time, crying more than dad. So the episode opens with the little girls in the living room dancing around. It's the next morning, so everybody still has on their PJs, and they have on some cute little silky satiny type pajamas, and I'm like, oh, okay, fancy. And then we hear Eric saying their pajamas are way better than ours, and I'm like, Eric, you're a whole grown man. If you want some satin or silk pajamas, please go buy them. They were very cute though. Listen, mom and dad knows they really do take excellent care of these kids. So dad wakes up and he comes out looking just mentally exhausted. He actually doesn't look like he's physically exhausted. You can tell that he's just had a lot on his mind. And it's so sweet, all the kids run up to him giving him a hug, because kids can feed off your energy. They can tell when there is something wrong, and they just pretty much want to comfort dad. So dad sits down on the couch, and in the confessional he's letting us know that the surgery is supposed to take about 5 hours, and he's very upset because he can't be there. And he was saying how if Diaz hadn't had the surgery, eventually he could have had mental issues or even passed away. So it's like they were kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Even if you said, okay, aesthetically it's fine, we'll just leave him with the elongated head, you don't want him to suffer mentally or eventually pass away. So they pretty much had no choice but to have this surgery done. So now we have one of the Quints going into the room with Gigi, telling her that she would like to get Diaz a teddy bear for when he returns home. But not just any bear, she wants a singing bear. So basically they want to make up a song and record it and put it inside the bear. And Gigi says she's very impressed with Diani and the fact that she thought of doing that. And she can't wait to see what they come up with. You guys, so now we see mom in the car on her way back home. And the little caption says 3 hours into surgery. No, ma'am, Pam, couldn't be me. Let me tell you, she said the doctor told her that maybe it would be best if she left and came back after surgery. And I would have been like, maybe it would be best if you hush your face, because I'm not leaving my kid at all. You guys, my baby was in the hospital on the heart floor for 3 days. She was the youngest one there. And when I tell you I did not leave her side for 3 days, I don't care any tests they had to take her. She was, I think, probably about 19. And I don't care. I'm not leaving. I slept in a chair for 3 days right next to my child. I'm not leaving. But I'm not judging her. If she felt like she needed to leave, then okay. Maybe I am judging her. I wouldn't leave. Now, she says she left because your mind goes to places that it shouldn't go, like what if something goes wrong? And I'm like, of course it's going to go there, unfortunately. You just kind of pray and be like, get thee behind me, devil. But that's the whole reason why I wouldn't leave, because if something happens, I'm going to be right there in the very next room. I'm not going to have to take 10 or 15 minutes to get up there. I mean, people are just different. They got to do what's best for them, but it wouldn't be me. So mom makes it home, and Gigi is like, what are you doing back? She says, well, I was just sitting at the hospital. And I'm like, yeah, of course you were. She knows that. But she says that apparently the doctors are supposed to call her every 2 hours. The surgery is supposed to be 4 to 6 hours. She left when they were 3 hours in. So, okay. She says she's just all over the place. She's exhausted. And, she got to wash the blanket. Okay. So now we have Gigi and Eric outside playing with the kids. She says the surgery was only supposed to be 6 hours long, and they are now into hour 7. She's not sure if they ran into complications or what, but she's trying to keep her mind off of it and play with the kids. So the kids come up with a song, really cute. Then all of a sudden, dad is getting a call from the hospital. So he's like, be quiet, be quiet. So all of the grown-ups stand around, and you hear this lady saying that Diaz is still in surgery. Everything is going fine. Surgery's taking longer than expected, but everything is going fine. And not once does anyone say, what's wrong? What's taking so long? Like, give me something. And she just says that it's supposed to be another, few hours. She'll call them back in a couple hours. They say, okay, thank you, and hang up. And I'm like, no, I have questions. They should have major questions. I would be on my way back up there now, because what the hell is going on? Why is it taking so long? Why is everything taking longer than normal? And then you want to tell me that everything's okay. How is that possible? If it is, okay, but just explain it to me. That's my only thing. So in the confessional, they are saying how they're just wondering what's taking so long. Is it just that they don't want to alarm them? Is there, something going on that they should really know about? And he says, right now, all they can do is just guess. And I'm like, no, all you could have done was just ask. So then we have Dad. It's not really a confessional. He's just kind of standing outside the car talking to the camera, saying how it has been 8 hours, and I guess they just called and said that it's going to be another couple hours. So of course he's crying. It's very hard. I'm not gonna shame him for crying this time because it's extremely hard. So saying it without saying it, he said that it's really rough, and he wasn't able to really give him a goodbye hug or anything. So all of that is just really hard, and this began my downward spiral into my feelings when I originally watched the show. Yeah, it's rough. So finally we get a call from the doctor, Dr. Osaki, and he gets on the phone and says, yeah, we're good, we're done. You guys, I'm a stickler for when I'm in a professional setting, you speak to me in a professional manner. Don't call me after 9 and 10 hours having my kid in surgery telling me, yeah, we're good. So in the confessional, Dion explains to us that the doctor let them know there were actually no complications. It was just the fact that they pretty much guesstimated wrong because Diez's case was rare. First of all, I guess they're used to doing it on babies 3 to 6 months. Their heads are more pliable, and in this case, Dion is so developed. He's a toddler now, and they had to get around bone and actually do something a little bit different. So it's a little rare and cool. Fine. That's all they had to say in the first place, I'm telling you, and I would have felt better because, okay, that's not a complication. It's just a reason why it's taking longer, and I understand it, and that's what I would have needed to know hours ago, and that's what somebody could have conveyed to them hours ago, I think. But he asks, how will we know, regarding his brain activity? And the doctor says, well, I'm not going to go anywhere until he wakes up. And once he's awake, we can tell if he has normal brain activity or not. So Karen finally made it back to the hospital, and she's next to Diaz as he's waking up. She said when he walked in, she could tell that he kind of smiled or he moved his eyes a little bit. But she called Dion and the kids so that they could see him. And you guys, I'm on the fence about this. In a way, I feel like he did need to hear their voices and everything, and that was fine. But on the other hand, I feel like maybe it could have been a little traumatic for them to see him like that and just all in the hospital bed, bandaged up and everything. All in all, I guess it turned out fine. But we have Dad in the confessional saying how they're still not out of the woods because once he comes home, they're going to have to worry about, possible blood clots, infections, the fact that he has so many brothers and everything in a rough house and he could possibly bump his head. So it's still a long way to go. Oh, you guys, so it's the day after Diez's surgery, and they show us at the hospital with Karen and Diaz, and his eyes are swollen shut. And he's like whimpering, whining. She's saying he's not feeling his best today. And due to the fact that his eyes are swollen shut, he's temporarily blind. And oh, it just broke my heart because can you imagine? He's a baby. He doesn't understand what's going on. You can see one day, and then the very next day, you can't even open your eyes to see. Everything is just black. You can hear, so you're fine, basically. I mean, you're still here, but unable to see anything. I don't even know how they can compute something like that. It just broke my heart, you guys. And he just looked so swollen and broke my heart. It was very, very hard to watch. So the next day we see the nurse. She's there changing his gauze and his dressing and everything. And we see that he has a scar that goes from one side of his skull to the other. And Mom says she is concerned about what the scar is going to end up looking like. So the nurse is saying how everything looks good, just a little, still some swelling. And I'm like, yes, still a lot of swelling. What do you mean a little? But nonetheless, everything looks good. And I can say that his head shape looks so much better. And of course, it's going to look even better once the swelling goes down, but so much better. So mommy says she's hoping to get him out of there soon. And I'm like, soon as in before his eyes go down? Because again, wouldn't be me. I'm not leaving until my baby can see. We're not leaving this hospital where there are doctors and nurses until my kid can see. I'm not doing it. They would have had to kick me out because I'd have been like, no. She said they didn't tell her that it was going to be that bad. Nobody prepared her for that. She said they told her that he may have swollen eyes a little bit or something, but not to the point of blindness. So no, you didn't prepare me for this. So I'm going to assume that you guys didn't know it was going to be this bad, and I'm not going anywhere until it's better. Period. And here's the thing, you guys. I know during this whole review, I am kind of judgy and sounding a little impossible and irritating and annoying, and I don't care because I am. When it comes to my baby, I will be all of that. I'll be that. I don't care. I'm going to be all of that. And I would expect for anybody else to be that way with their kids too. So I'm not blaming her for leaving. I'm not blaming her for leaving when he had surgery. Like I said, everyone does what they're comfortable doing, so I'm not judging her as a mom. Thankfully, everything turned out well. I am just simply stating what I would do. And again, I know I sound impossible, and yes, when it comes to my daughter, I am impossible. So back at the house, Dad is relaxing with the kids, and they're talking about what he's going to be called when he has grandchildren. And I'm like, that's going to be forever. But he says he want to be called Pawpaw. He doesn't want to be called Granddad. So if you guys are grandparents and you have a grandchild or grandchildren, tell me in the comments what it is that they call you. I would love to know what you guys are called. So they get the bear, you guys, and they have to stuff the bear and record the song for the bear and put the recording inside the bear. Very cute, like a Build-A-Bear at home. So it's so cute. The twin boys are in their confessional talking about how glad they are that he's coming home and they miss him so much. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. So as they're doing the recording, they asked Gigi to sing, and Gigi's like, no, I would mess up your song. So little Denver, one of the twins, those twins are a mess. He says, yeah, she would totally mess up the song. He tells her, yeah, I think that's best. And then in the confessional, he's like acting out how she sings, and yeah, it's not good. So when Mom pulls up, Dad is outside ready to greet her and Diaz alone so that he can greet him and have that one-on-one second with him before everyone else gets involved. And it was very emotional, but nice. And it looks like Diaz's eyes went down a little bit. They weren't as bad as they were the day before. Still very, very much swollen and swollen shut, but it did go down a little bit to me. So they take him in the house and sit him on the couch, and he immediately starts smiling at the sound of his siblings and at just hearing their names. I'm gonna go get Dior, and he's smiling, so sweet. And Dad takes his hands and let him feel everyone's face, because that's how you do, so you can know exactly who you're talking to. And since he can't see, that's a way for him to know exactly what's going on. So I thought that whole thing was sweet, and he definitely responded well to his siblings. I mean, just smiling, and they called somebody bald-headed, I don't know, and he was dying laughing off of that, so it was good to see. So they give him the bear, and he's holding it. They push it so it can sing, and he's smiling, very sweet. Then they sing a song, Diaz is Here Today, while clapping, and he has just the biggest smile on his face. So finally they're going home, and you guys, Diaz can open one eye. Oh my God, so happy to see that his face is going down. He's able to open an eye. He's able to run around and join the kids by himself. So they're going home, and they're about to open the door and see their new renovated home. So they all love the new living room furniture, and of course they were ecstatic about the bunk beds, jumping all over and everything. And I'm like, well, all those kids, how did they make it without bunk beds this long? I'm gonna have to go back and see how their rooms looked before, because I would love to see how many beds they had in each room with no bunk beds. But the kids love bunk beds, so now they got bunk beds. and she's talking to the guy that did the renovations for them, his friend. I can't remember his name, you guys. And she's like, oh, you got it done for us, and something about his OCD, dad's OCD. And I'm like, I thought we were going to make it one episode without hearing about his OCD, but no. So remember, we were supposed to do our drinking game. Y'all only get to drink once this time, but nonetheless, you still got a chance to drink. All right, thank you guys so much for listening. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and all of that good stuff. And also, if you are a grandparent, I would love to know what it is your grandchildren call you. So please leave that in the comments. All right, see you guys next week. Smooches.